Really getting a familiar vibe from that transformation. Not that that's a bad thing.
Best Match, Kamen Rider Build.
Hello and welcome to Earth Alien ProtoMet. Kamen Rider Double is one of my favorite seasons of, well, Kamen Rider. So when in 2017 a new season with a hero that very closely resembled the merged detectives started airing, I was certainly interested. But does Kamen Rider Build stand tall or does it crumble to rubble?
In 2007, mankind reached Mars and brought back a strange cube. This object, dubbed Pandora's Box, once opened, erected massive walls that split Japan in three. 10 years later, as the three territories now known as Toto, Seito, and Hokuto maintain a tenuous peace, a secret organization known as Faust utilizes a gas produced by the skywall to create monsters for nefarious purposes. To combat them, Sento Kiryu, an amnesiac with a brilliant mind, utilizes a purified form of the gas to battle against Faust's creation as Kamen Rider Build. And when he encounters Ryuga Banjo, a fugitive accused of murder, Sento's fight for love and peace takes an interesting turn.
One great aspect of this series is that, just like Sento uses two full bottles to transform, almost every character has two sides to them. I'm not going to go into detail for spoiler reasons, but it is handled incredibly well and enhances an already great plot.
The show has lots of great characters, but for the sake of brevity, I'll only cover 3 of them, starting with the titular character. Sento Kiryu is a quirky character, a brilliant scientist with a strong sense of justice. With no memory of his past, he sometimes becomes consumed in his research, but he's always reliable, willing to protect others, no matter who they are. And with all the full bottles that he gathers over the course of the series in order to transform in combat, he uses a wide variety of combinations to fight. Certain full bottles are super compatible with each other, resulting in what's known as a best match, and Sento likes to experiment to find out which bottles form best matches with each other. Unfortunately, the whole mix and match aspect that reminds me so much of Double rather quickly falls to the wayside as Sento begins utilizing best matches more often than he experiments, and it gets worse the further the series goes.
Admittedly, that was probably done to save on the costume budget. Just imagine how expensive the show would have been to make if they made suits for every combination, best match or not. Thankfully, this issue doesn't take away from Build as a character, who's still a great hero.
Joining him is the fugitive former fighter, Ryuga Banjo, who is more muscle than mind. Early on, he's obsessed with solving the murder he's accused of committing, focusing so much on clearing his own name that it blinds him to the problems around him. But in battle, he proves to be surprisingly effective for a civilian, and Sento soon gives him the chance to become Kamen Rider Cross Z and join him in the battle against Faust and the Hidden Agenda. Ryuga is played by Eiji Akaso, who had previously played Hiroki Nagase in Kamen Rider Amazon Season 2. In my review of that show, I mentioned how unnecessary his character felt to the show, but thankfully, Build proves that with proper writing, Akaso can show just how good of an actor he can be, and Ryuga is a fantastic secondary protagonist. Finally, there's Misora Isurugi, a girl with the ability to purify the full bottles, allowing the heroes to battle the Smash and gather their essences to purify more full bottles. How she came to possess this ability is a mystery, but she spent a number of years being forced to purify full bottles for Faust for unknown reasons. With the help of her father, she managed to escape and lived in hiding, and now helps Sento to combat Faust's sinister plots. While she never fights herself, she is able to help by using her influence as a net idol to gather information and funds. Also, and I won't dwell on this, but Faust Bloodstark is a fantastic villain. Incredibly charismatic and cunning, he always stays one step ahead of the heroes. His motivations are an enigma, but he is such a joy to watch. Then there are the show's monsters, the Smash, which Faust creates by exposing people to nebula gas, a vapor produced by the skywall. The Smash are well designed, but there are surprisingly few of them. This is something that's common with more modern Kamen Rider seasons, with monsters just kind of showing back up after being defeated, and becoming basically stronger grunts. Build at least changes the colors of the Smash to indicate that they are stronger, similar to a lot of video games.
You'd think they'd have done that for the previous season, X8, but that's another video.
A major aspect of the plot, aside from Faust's scheming, is the political tension between the three territories. Despite peace being maintained, it's clear the leaders of Hokuto and Sato have their own plots for gaining control of Pandora's box. And even in Toto, there are elements that are intent on maintaining the region's control of the Martian cube, no matter what. And then there's Namba Heavy Industries, which manufactures the surprisingly easy-to-hack Guardian robots that each territory uses to maintain law and order.
Between the great action, great characters, and great plot, Kamen Rider Build is fantastic. I will admit that the story loses some of its momentum towards the end of the show's run, but that's mostly because there are fewer plot twists by that point. At some point they had to stop. And while I didn't cover them all, the characters are also fantastic. And the show feels like if Dano actually had a great plot rather than an adequate one. I really should have included this one on my list of favorite seasons of Kamen Rider that I made a few months back, but at the time I'd only watched Build once, and the others I had watched at least twice. But, had it been fresher in my mind, it definitely would have gotten a spot on that list. So, I strongly recommend giving Kamen Rider Build a watch. And until next time, this has been me, ProtoMet. See ya!